I think I define myself as an artist first, but I do work with the medium of painting. My relationship with painting deals a lot with a very horizontal approach. I'm very interested in people just painting their houses, or people using paint to do transit lines, or it's a way for me to not have such a distance from the work and try to bring it more to a daily life basis. Also, I've been always concerned with architecture and interested in architecture. It was the first thing I studied. Gradually, these two mediums or practices have become a parallel constant in my work. For this time, there's much more of a connection with the paper cuts of Matisse in that kind of process, right? And it's on my practice that I have this openness to try these new materials, although my main concern is in painting, actually. I wouldn't say it's not even in color, but in painting. So in this way, it's just like, how can we open more and more this spectrum of the practice, right? I think my very simple idea is that the connection, why is painting, why this is painting, this work for the CAG and these vinyls, and it deals with the process of pigment applied into a surface. This pigment was applied by a machine into these plastic sheets, right? Very interested in the practice of Elio Oiticica, a Brazilian artist who was dealing a lot with the notion of color, but with the notion of paint as well. And he suggested the idea of a penetrable, which means a space or a painting you can enter. For me, his ideas were very interesting in the sense of how you could actually navigate a painting instead of just look at it from a distance. So this for me is a very important starting point in my practice. I would say I see my work coming from a very different place than graffiti and street art. Of course, I consider them to be forms of art, but I would link myself more with a tradition of muralism. And also, at the same time, I feel also disconnected to that tradition in a way. Quite concerned in other things. Traditionally, historically, muralism has been either used to indoctrinate the masses by the church or to have some kind of political content, or right, for instance, in Mexico with somebody like Diego Rivera. What I'm applying for is a kind of mural making in a way that deals with the present time, and it's meant not to apply for any of these things that I just mentioned, but instead of, let's say, working as a composition that as you will navigate it or experience it, it could be seen like a song. So it's supposed to generate present and not to have this kind of content or weight of history or let's say this function that traditionally has been applied for mural making. Mural work, it's very concerned with the practice of site specificity, right? It's concerned with the context, with the history of the place. Even in my case, I'm concerned with the immediate history of the place, right? So I would say that's the difference.